We're going to be joined by Adi Oladipo from 12 noon onwards to discuss matters in the world of boxing. But let's do that right now, because the result of Daniel Dubois against Alexander Usyk has officially been appealed by Frank Warren and his team. Now, if you remember, Dubois was ultimately stopped in Poland by Usyk in round 9 back in August. The Ukrainian retained the WBA, WBO, IBF and IBO heavyweight titles. But controversy earlier on in round 5 when Daniel put Usyk down in that round, only for his body shot attempt to be ruled as a low blow. Frank lobbied for a no contest and a rematch. But how long is that process going to take? And Frank Warren joins us live on the show this morning. Frank, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jim. Good morning, Simon.
Morning, Frank.
How are you feeling? Spring in your step in this beautiful weather. It's wonderful, isn't it?
There's always a spring in my step. It doesn't. It's not, and it's not down to the weather.
Oh, I like that, Frank. So where are you at with this then? You're still insisting that no matter what, you're going to push the boxing authorities because of what happened in round 5, and you still think that Dubois was robbed there and then?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've got a lot of photographic, video proof, and so forth, and we've sent that off as part of our case, and that's now been lodged with the WBA. So it'll go through the process now. They'll have a hearing and they'll determine whether they feel we've got a valid case or not, and that's really where we're at. So we're fighting tooth and nail for our man.
And how long do you think this process will take, Frank, ideally?
I'm hoping it'll be fairly quickly, but you know, sometimes it can take up to 3 to 4 weeks.
So Simon thinks that you're after one of 3 outcomes, and what would these be, Simon? I mean,
well, I think he's after one of one outcome, isn't he? He wants to get, Frank, you want to get a rematch, don't you?
Of course, that's what we feel we should do. You know, look, if after that knockdown, if Daniel had grit his teeth and went hell for leather, I don't think a lot of people would be moaning about the application. People are moaning about it because some feel he didn't, you know, he sort of lost heart in the fight. But that's irrelevant. That to me is irrelevant. It's what happened at that moment in time. And that moment in time, he hit him with a legitimate shot. I think we can guarantee we can prove that. And the referee gave him a 3-minute 46-second break. And at one stage, when Usyk wanted to fight, after about 2 rounds, the referee insisted he takes more time. So that's not his job, and the referee got it drastically wrong.
But Frank, some would say, I don't know if Simon agrees, that this sport is all about levels, and Usyk proved ultimately that he's on a different one to Daniel.
Not really. If that another referee had given that as a legitimate blow, the fight would have been over.
What's your take on it? Do you sympathise with Frank in the efforts that he's now making on behalf of his fighter, Simon?
Well, yeah, to a degree, because I think that ultimately it wasn't a low blow. I think, you know, whilst there's an element of subjectivity towards refereeing decisions, there was a fight, as we know, on the same evening between Jared Anderson and a fighter called Rudenko, where a very different standard was deployed to the judgment of what a low blow is. I am in the camp, and probably Frank will accede to this particular point, that I'm surprised that Daniel Dubois didn't subsequently jump on him and take advantage of that. But that may well be down to inexperience and the fact that you know, his judgment call was different to what we think it should be. But I don't think it's inappropriate for his promoter to be going after the WBA to try and achieve a better outcome than the current situation. The current situation is you've had your shot, back of the queue. I would imagine that Frank would like to try and create a better situation, which is an ideal world. In an ideal world, he gets a no contest. If he can't get a no contest, he gets a rematch. If he can't get a rematch, he gets some ability to retain Daniel Dubois as the mandatory on the WBA belt. Is that a fair assessment, Frank?
Yeah, I mean, there are 3 options there, but, you know, obviously we're going for the main one. But look, do I think they'll declare it no contest? No, I don't.
No.
We will try hard for that, but I don't think they will. But there's no doubt about it, the referee got it badly wrong. He did not. If you watched that fight you was referring to, Simon,
I did.
15 low, what you would say, according to Daniel, he could have been disqualified 15 times, 15 shots. And not only that, the other guy never even complained about it. He was taking the shots because his belt was high, like as was Usyk's, and hit on the belt line. And that's where a lot of people are getting it wrong. It's not the punch hitting the the waistband of the shorts. It has to be above the navel. And most boxers, in fact Daniel as well in that fight, wear their shorts very, very high. They wear them high above the navel. So the shot was a legitimate shot. And the referee, by the way, never before the fight at any time instructed either boxer what was the area.
You see, it might have been a different story though, Frank, if Daniel had gone right after Usyk, right there and then in the next round.
Jim, I hear that, mate, and there's a case for that. But you know what? At the end of the day, he was on your program last week, I think it was, or the week before, and he said himself that he lost. He sort of lost. Well, he said he lost the flavour for it, in other words. But having said that, I weren't happy with that. But if what happened, it can't be right. You can't say, right, you can referee. Say, listen, take a bit more time. That's okay. You want to fight? No, you take another minute and a half.
Frank, many comments coming in. There's a fight fan called Mark. Morning, Mark. Frank on your show is assuming an awful lot. To say Usyk couldn't have fought on had he been told to get up sooner is ludicrous. Usyk is too shrewd for that, says Mark.
I mean, that's Mark's opinion. But the fact of the matter is I didn't see him at any time when he was on the floor holding his balls, rolling round, anytime say that he wanted to get up and fight. Did he do that? No, he didn't. He took all that time out. He didn't say to the referee, "No, I'm good to go." Didn't say that at all. He took.
Do you not think though, Frank, because the argument's been made on the converse that if the referee had started to count, that he would have got up, but the advantage would have been really then Daniel's, because you saw when he did eventually get himself to his feet after 3 minutes and 46 seconds that he was still damaged, and there was still an opportunity there for Daniel. There would have been an even greater opportunity for Daniel if he was on a count immediately, because he'd have been feeling the full effects of it. So if he'd have got up, he'd have been in a real position of jeopardy, Usyk, wouldn't he?
I agree with what you're saying there, but look, before the fight, I fancied him big time. I said which he gave him his hardest fight. There's no doubt about that. As a heavyweight, that was his hardest fight he's had. And when I look back, I studied him quite a bit. He's a very good fighter, but there is a lot of footage of him complaining and moaning about when he gets hit to the body. He cannot take a body shot. He's not great at taking.
Yeah, I've seen the clips when he fought Anthony Joshua. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Frank, we wish you well with your efforts on that one.